Tonight on our news, we've got the latest on the investigation into the suspected drowning of a preteen boy in Yellow Elder, what area residents and a child advocate are saying about it 11 years after a similar incident. Plus, about to take the bench, a new Chief Justice is sworn in today. And later, we'll tell you the honors for the selfless efforts of some COVID-19 heroes. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. For the second time in nearly 11 years, police are investigating the alleged drowning of a preteen boy at a local pond in the Yellow Elder community. The incident leaving residents shocked and saddened as they tell our Berthany McDermott they often try to keep children away from the pond.
Residents in the Yellow Elder area expressing concern over the haunting incident. One of the first people on the scene was Yellow Elder resident Joy Culmer, who says she assisted police in getting to the area. She says the boy's body was discovered not too far away from her home.
I feel very sad because it could have been one of my children. Just seeing that body there, oh my God. And you know, we often tell the children not to swim inside that lake or that pond. And they always do. You know, condolences to the family because it could happen to anybody, child, you know. According
to Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings, a group of children found the boy partially submerged in the pond on the grounds of the Oaksfield Sports Center Golf Academy. Skippings says the child, who they believe to be between the age of 10 and 12 years old, was found in boxer briefs and is believed to have been there for at least 24 hours. This is not the first time a child is drowned in the area. In October 2011, a 10-year-old boy drowned while swimming with a friend at the nearby Blue Hills playing field. Now area residents are left to wonder how it could happen again.
Many day and afternoon passing or even in the morning, you would see children gather right here, jumping right to this area. And sometimes I say, y'all stop going in that pond, stop jumping over the fence.
Now, Chief Superintendent Skippings making it clear that if it's found that the child was being neglected, the culprits will be held responsible.
And let me say emphatically that if our investigations reveal that this particular incident, that there was some form of child neglect, you will see the parent or parents being charged in connection with this matter.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
24 hours after the boy's body was found, police say family members still have not come forward to identify him, nor has any official missing persons report been filed. It's a concern for police, the social services minister, and a children's rights activist. Megan Shepard picks up the story from here.
Sergeant Desiree Ferguson, attached to the Public Affairs and Communications Department of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, revealing that the police are still pretty much clueless about the child's identity, but they do believe they know his nationality.
We are appealing to members of the public, particularly our Haitian community members, to please help us in identifying who this deceased child may be. We know that someone's child is missing.
Minister of Social Services Obi Wilshcombe noting that his ministry is working with the Royal Bahamas Police Force to help identify the victim as quickly as possible. He adds that although children will partake in adventurous activities and can sometimes slip by the watchful eye of their parents, it's also up to communities to be vigilant.
So our deep concern today is the family. Our deep concern today is for all young people across the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the fact that due care and attention must be given to them at all times.
President of Rise Bahamas, Chanel Burrows, is appealing to the victim's family to come forward.
The boy had been submerged for at least 24 hours, so that meant that essentially there was no missing persons report filed on his behalf. So we find it very worrisome. We don't understand what the circumstances may be that did allow someone to actually, file this missing child report.
Burrows says particularly during the summer months, parents and guardians should pay more attention to the whereabouts of their children.
So we want to ensure the children are safe and not left unattended at any pool or beach, pond, whatever the case might be, regardless of whether they're able to swim or not.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepard.
Meanwhile, investigations continue into an alleged drowning on Grand Bahama after a young man's body was pulled from waters Tuesday evening. Police say 5 young men went swimming on Celebrity Beach near Paradise Cove, Deadman's Reef, when one of them didn't return to shore. A team of officers made several checks but could not locate the teen. Our News understands the young man has been identified by family members as 17-year-old Malik Miller. Miller's lifeless body was recovered around 5 p.m. on Tuesday and was transported to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. An autopsy will determine the exact cause of death. Well, a man hoping to avoid an attempted murder trial is seeking a plea deal. More from today's court proceedings coming up in just a moment, but for now, scattered showers around the capital today. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome everybody for our first look at weather on this Hump Day Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid-80s outside our studios right now with just a few clouds. Not too bad in the breeze area. It's easterly at 10 miles per hour, making it feels like 88 degrees on the outside. Satellite view, moisture associated with an upper level low and a low level disturbance moving across the southeast and central Bahamas, sparking a couple isolated showers and thunderstorms down in that area. We'll continue to see that moisture move across our area. Should be in the northwest Bahama late tonight into tomorrow, but we have a big upper level low. You'll see that later on in our newscast. That's going to be moving in our neighborhood sometime by tomorrow and into the weekend. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, former Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder becomes the 14th Chief Justice after receiving his instruments of appointment today, plus the latest on the Gold Rock closure over in Grand Bahama, why the opposition leader is saying now is not the right time, and later deserving attention for their selfless efforts during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll tell you the honors for the group of Bahamians when our news returns. A second defendant in the attempted murder and armed robbery of a 93-year-old shopkeeper is seeking to resolve the case without going to trial. 20-year-old Tyrone Neely is accused of bashing in 93-year-old Wilfred Benaby's skull with a hammer during a $500 robbery at his Lincoln Boulevard store on January 28, 2020. Prosecutor Darnell Dorset told Justice Guillermina Archer Mins that more time was needed to reach a plea agreement. Prosecutors have proposed a 10-year sentence, less the time he's already spent awaiting trial. By contrast, defense lawyer Miranda Adderley is seeking a 7-year sentence. Neely returns to court on August 31st to see if an agreement has been reached. Meanwhile, Neely's 18-year-old co-accused took a plea deal in the case 2 months ago and was sentenced to 10 years, less the time spent on remand. His co-accused can't be named because he was 16 years old when he committed the offenses. And former Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder is now the 14th Chief Justice of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Winder receiving his instruments of appointment today. He was called to the Bahamas Bar in May 1995 and was appointed Supreme Court Justice back in July 2014. Prime Minister Philip Davis describing Chief Justice Winder as a man of the highest honor.
His impartiality and his complete independence are not matters upon which he will ever be prepared to compromise. He is, first and last, his own man, and a man of the highest honor.
In his first address as Chief Justice, Winder said the goal is to create solutions to enhance the delivery of justice with a holistic approach to addressing the many challenges.
Challenges such as the mounting backlog of civil and criminal cases, disposition cycles which are too long, unreasonable delays in the delivery of civil judgments, and the lengthy criminal trial process. These may be legacy problems, but together the solutions can be found and public confidence in the judiciary strengthened.
In other news, after taking much flack for failing to reveal recent government settlements. Prime Minister Philip Davis says government will reveal the settlements in time. Government recently awarded a settlement to Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander. Nearly 2 weeks later, attorney for former Bahamas Power and Light Chairman Darnell Osborne said a tentative settlement was reached with the Office of the Attorney General. Today, the Prime Minister explains some matters are sensitive and won't be made public.
Particularly at this time, there are a number of issues that brought on suits against the government because of the conduct of the previous administration. If we're going to move to resolve those other matters, to expose settlements in any form or fashion, may prejudice the ability to settle others.
And a commission of inquiry into Bahamas Power and Light is still being considered, according to Prime Minister Philip Davis. Davis tells reporters the aim is to shore up democracy and put a stop to mistakes of the past. Berthany McDermott reports.
More than a year after he promised televised hearings into the affairs at Bahamas Power and Light, Prime Minister Philip Davis says the commission of inquiry is still on the table. Davis says the decision will come soon. The PM also says if internal inquiries aren't fruitful, the matter could be advanced.
We are considering some inquiries. You would have heard me saying on a number of occasions where we are unable, through the inquiry, what I call the anterior inquiry we're conducting, where we are unable to get information, there are ways and means of advancing that inquiry to another level to ensure that persons are compelled to respond and to provide information.
Back in March 2021, while he was opposition leader, Davis said BPL had seen one bad decision after another, adding there was no accountability and no transparency. His comments followed the dismissal of the former board, which resulted in former chairperson Darnell Osborne and 3 others taking legal action. At the time, he also lashed out at the rate reduction bond proposed by the former Minister administration. Speaking on the sidelines of the appointment of the new Chief Justice, Davis says a number of things are on the table.
So we are looking into those matters now, and the question is how far we take it.
Now, the Prime Minister making it clear that the inquiry is to ensure accountability and transparency at BPL.
What I am concerned about is not just what has happened, but I want to have recommendations from these inquiries as to how best we could show up our democracy, to ensure transparency and accountability, and that we understand that the pitfalls made by persons in government before we will not fall into those.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
When our news comes back from the break, the fallout from Gold Rock's closure on Grand Bahama continues as the business community sounds the alarm.
Plus, coming up in sports for tonight, Jonquel Jones on the floor for the Connecticut Sun. They pick up a nice win over the Phoenix Mercury. We'll tell you about that. And one of our junior athletes into the finals of the 110 hurdles. Details ahead in sports.
And later, the selfless efforts of dozens of Bahamians recognized in a special ceremony. The details when Our News returns. This is Our News. Welcome back. Executives of Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce weighing in on the saga involving Gold Rock and the Grand Bahama Port Authority, reportedly over exclusivity to mine fill on that island. The chamber insisting Gold Rock's closure will have a major impact on the island's economy. Italia Hall reports that the Prime Minister has reached out to the family at the center of the issue.
It seems that we take a few steps forward and then we take a few extra back.
Those words by Chamber President James Carey as he expressed his concerns regarding the closure of Gold Rock in Grand Bahama.
This is concerning.
The nation's leader, Prime Minister Philip Davis, speaking out on the issue today, calling it concerning. The Prime Minister says he spoke with the Del Zotto family and says it is a situation where they feel as if they are being hindered by those in authority.
I don't want to disclose the content of that. I did indicate to them that as government, I want to intervene to see how I can resolve the situation.
The PM says he told the Delzato family that he wants to intervene to see how the matter can be resolved, adding that the idea is to save jobs as the government moves to revive the economy of Grand Bahama.
This will be a setback to that revitalization effort, but we are hoping to be able to move to somehow find another initiative to fill that gap.
Second Vice President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Mick Holding, also weighing in on the issue.
500 or 600 people who are going to be impacted directly by the closure. I'm hopeful that the latest move by the Prime Minister will bring the parties together.
Reporting for our news, I'm Natalia Hall.
Meanwhile, leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, commenting once again on Gold Rock's decision to pull out of Grand Bahama with such short notice, saying now is not the right time.
Grand Bahama's economy, we believe, has the potential to rebound. This sends the wrong message by having this closure. And many residents and businesses are still trying to repair their homes and facilities. And while some companies on the island can provide some of the hardware and construction supplies needed, there are items, particularly in the concrete space, that they would not be able to provide.
In other news, the former health minister says removing the mask mandate by year's end once the Bahamas reaches a 70% vaccination rate is not a realistic goal. Marlena Leonard tells us the former minister believes the reason is the slow uptake of the COVID-19 vaccines in recent months, while also weighing in on monkeypox.
Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands addressing concerns about monkeypox at a press conference hosted at the party's headquarters this morning.
When we talk about monkeypox, there has been a shortage of information, helpful information, to allay the fears and concerns of the general public. There has been precious little discussion about how we are going to fix the broken hospitals in Grand Bahama and in Nassau. How are we going to fix the floors in the operating room? How are we going to repair the broken down equipment in our health facilities?
Dr. Sands' primary concern was the recent statement from Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville. On Tuesday, Dr. Darville said the COVID-19 mask mandate could be dropped as early as the end of the year, once 70% of the public was vaccinated.
We are now somewhere between 54 to 56%. We hoping to reach 60% within a few months and hopefully reach our target of 70% by the end of the year.
But Dr. Sands suggests the projected end-of-year goal is unrealistic based on the current rate of vaccination.
It's hard to understand how, if the population is at 43%, 169,000 people fully immunized, and we need to get to 70%, and we are vaccinating 1,400, I think 1,390 people per week. How are we going to get to 70% by the end of the year?
Reporting for our news, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Well, Jonquil Jones and the Sun with a solid win over the Mercury. Meanwhile, a Bahamian sprints into the finals at the World Junior Track Championships. Here's Marcellus Hall.
All right, thanks a lot and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Jonquil Jones had to sit out a while with the COVID protocols, but she is definitely back on the floor now for the Connecticut Sun. Yesterday, they took on the Phoenix Mercury looking for a win. Let's see how she did. Jonquil Jones and her Connecticut Sun back on the court last night as they took on the Phoenix Mercury. Sun looking to improve on their 20-9 record going into the game. They did exactly what they wanted to. They were able to get by the Mercury. 87-63 ends up being their final score. The victory puts the Sun solidly in second place in the Eastern Conference at 21-10. As for Jonquil's performance, she did pretty well. 25 minutes on the floor, finished up with 10 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks in the contest. The Sun now, as we mentioned, with a nice win, they look to see who their next matchup is going to be. As a matter of fact, that comes your way on Thursday when they play the Phoenix Mercury once again, this time in Connecticut. So we'll see how that one turns out and give you all the details on that. Meanwhile, some track and field news. Antoine Andrews continues to build on the season of his lifetime as he got the Bahamas off to a great start. finishing and made his way to the hurdles. The second fastest time ever in the men's 110-meter hurdles yesterday. His first global final at the 2022 World Athletics Under-20s, blazing through in 13.39 seconds to win his semifinal heat. And looks as if he's going to be a solid contender going into the finals on Wednesday. And there it is, your check on sports for you here on this Hump Day Wednesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Still ahead on our news tonight, how the government is saying thank you to COVID heroes. And we saw a few downpours in the capital today. Greg is back with our extended weather forecast. Stay with us. Welcome back to our news. More showers moving through. Greg is back in the weather center with a look ahead.
Thanks again, Christine, and welcome back, everybody, for our second look at weather. Big upper level low spinning out there in the open Atlantic, just to the east of the Bahamas. Some low-level moisture and low-level disturbance moving across the central and southeast Bahamas, generating some isolated showers. We also have another upper level low that's spinning across Florida. That sparked a few showers over the northwest Bahamas yesterday. That's moving out of the area. But all of this will be moving towards the west, and that's going to be increasing our shower chances and thunderstorm activity over the next couple of days as that moisture plume and some upper level support moves into our area. Satellite view, infrared, not too much associated with the upper level low right now, but like I said, it's going to be moving towards the west. Isolated showers and thunderstorms associated with the center of that, and that's going to continue to pull some moisture across our area. So looking at an increase in some shower activity throughout the remainder of the weekend into the weekend. Behind that, we still have some lingering Saharan dust that's keeping the tropics very quiet, and it's going to continue to keep tropics quiet for the next 5 days, but we do have a very strong tropical wave moving off the African coast. We will continue to monitor that, as August is the area, well, Central Atlantic is the area that we tend to look for activity and tropical cyclone formation during the month of August. But all's quiet, and it should remain quiet over the next several days. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your tide is presently low, will be high at 36 minutes past midnight. For the southeast Bahamas, caution flag in place for you guys down there. Easterly winds at 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting at times, and your seas will be running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your 7-day forecast, with that big upper level low and that upper level support bringing in some moisture, we're seeing some showers and thunderstorms in the forecast Thursday, Friday, possibly into Saturday. But behind that, Saharan dust will once again move in, and we're looking for some hot temperatures and some cleaner and clearer weather for the early part of next week. That's a look at our forecast. Make it a great night, everybody.
In 2020, as the country struggled to contain the COVID-19 virus, a group of individuals sacrificed in their own way to care for those who were in need, and their efforts have not gone unnoticed. The National Independence Commission recently honoring hundreds for their stellar service to the country. Berthany McDermott shares more in our final story tonight on the hard work the group is being recognized for.
Deserving attention for the selfless efforts of many during the height of the disastrous COVID-19 pandemic came in a recent special ceremony by the National Independence Commission, all in celebration of the country's 49th anniversary that spanned the entire month of July. The message in our coat of arms, a fitting reminder of our citizenry's common goal: forward, upward, onward together. A goal those that helped to carry our country forward achieved during the trying time marked by a nationwide shutdown and ensuing healthcare and economic turmoil. After coming through what is seen as perhaps the worst of it, these recipients telling our news how it feels to see their efforts rewarded.
I felt very grateful and humble. It's not often we get recognized, especially in the healthcare sector, especially being a nurse. We work so hard.
It's my heart's desire to make a difference, one person at a time,
one moment at a time.
Other religious leaders, healthcare and social welfare workers, educators, and law enforcement also recognized for their efforts. Members of the media were also highlighted for their outstanding contribution in the fight against COVID-19. Our News and RTV's on the record among those counted in the number. Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin saying in her keynote address they have all helped or positively touched the lives of hundreds. But for these award recipients, the journey to now wasn't always easy.
It was a really difficult time, but I also saw it as an opportunity. That was when Access Medical was born.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Thanks, Berthany, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.